My beloved child, there are times when I allow a hand to slip away from yours, not because I desire for you to be lonely, but because I am freeing you from a dependence that has quietly become a chain. You thought it was a loss, but in my sight, it was a bringing forth from a narrow place into a wider sky. I know you loved sincerely, that you were deeply attached, that you had grown so accustomed to that presence that you felt as though your heart could no longer stand without it. But my child, any love that causes you to lose your peace, your freedom, your purity, and the holy calling within you must be placed back into my hands, not so that I may destroy what you treasure, but so that I may set all things back in the order of grace, so that what remains with you will not pull you downward, but lift you closer to the light. I never act in your life with coldness. Every separation that feels painful to you has passed through my mercy. When you weep because someone has gone away, I do not stand outside your sorrow. I am there in your sobs. In the long night when you cannot sleep, in the silence where you look back on memories and ask why, I know you want to hold on, because you can only see the road behind you, while I see the road ahead. You see the days that once felt warm, while I see the wounds that could grow deeper if you remained. You remember the gentle words, while I see the hidden things that quietly wear you down, make you anxious, cause you to doubt yourself, and draw you away from the peace I have prepared for you. Therefore, do not be quick to call someone's departure a punishment. Sometimes it is a door I have closed, so that a harmful wind can no longer blow into the room of your heart. Sometimes it is a necessary silence, so that you may hear my voice more clearly again. Sometimes it is an empty space I create, not to abandon you, but so that I may step into the place you had long given to something else. You were created to live first in my presence. Every affection, every relationship, every dream, and every joy becomes healthy only when it stands in its rightful place beneath my light. When something becomes the center and causes you to forget the source of peace, I will gently yet firmly lead you back. Remember Abraham, the one who heard my voice calling him to leave his homeland, his relatives, and the familiar place he knew, in order to go to the land I would show him. He was not given the entire map beforehand, nor did he see every turn in advance, nor was he assured by what his eyes could see that everything would be easy. He had only my promise and my guidance to human understanding. Leaving what is familiar is a great loss, but in my plan, it was the beginning of a covenant wider than his mind could comprehend. If Abraham had clung tightly to the old place simply because it was safe and familiar, he would not have stepped into the promised land prepared for him. In the same way, my child, there are things I ask you to release, not because they are entirely evil, but because they cannot go with you into the new season I have appointed. There are attachments that appear sweet on the outside, yet inwardly cause you to forget how to stand firmly in me. You begin to wait for a message more than you wait for my guidance. You begin to let another person's attitude, words, or coldness determine your entire day. You begin to wonder whether you are lovable enough, chosen enough, important enough. While I called you precious before anyone else even knew your name, when your heart must seek validation from a human being more than it receives validation from me, you are placing the key to your peace into the hands of someone who was never created to carry that responsibility. I do not condemn you for loving. A heart that knows how to love is a beautiful gift, but I am teaching you to love in freedom, not in fear, to love with clarity, not in dependence, to love from fullness, not from a lack so deep that you wound yourself. The one I truly place beside you will not require you to trade away the purity of your mind, the peace of your heart, or the dignity I have given you. That person may not be perfect, but their presence will not continually pull you away from what is holy, will not cause you to forget the noble calling within you, and will not make you become smaller so that they may become greater in your life. So when I separate you from a person, a place, a hobby, or a desire, trust that my hand is working deeper than what you can feel. I can use absence to heal a part within you that presence had hidden for too long. I can use emptiness to teach you that you are still upheld, still loved, still valuable, even when the person you hoped would stay did not remain. I can use a season of solitude to place within you a gentle strength, so that you no longer chase shadows, no longer beg for love at doors I never opened. Let me comfort you with this truth. What I take from your hand is never greater than what I am preparing for you at the right time. But before you can receive the new, your hands must be empty. If you keep clinging to what has already passed its season, you will have no room to receive the blessing that is coming. If you keep calling bondage love, it will be difficult for you to recognize healthy love when it appears. If you remain where you are exhausted simply because you fear beginning again, you will miss the path I have already paved with kindness. Therefore, my beloved child, do not resist my quiet leading. Cry if you need to cry, but do not build a temple for your pain. Remember if memories return, but do not allow memory to rule your tomorrow. Be grateful for what once taught you to mature, but do not turn back to embrace what I, in my mercy, have led you out of. I am not calling you to walk in bitterness, but in purity. I am not teaching you to close your heart, but to open it in the right place, to the right person, at the right time. And under my covering, I am bringing you back to yourself in my light. I am removing from you the invisible cords that once made your steps heavy. I am restoring calm to your heart, so that you no longer have to live guessing who will leave, who will stay, who still loves, and who has changed. You only need to know this. I remain. I do not change. I do not abandon you in the middle of the journey. And when I lead someone out of your life, it is because I am leading you closer to a peace that no one has the right to take away. Lift your eyes to me. My beloved child, what you have lost is not the end of the story. It may be the chapter I have closed, so that I may write a purer, deeper, and more radiant page. Let your heart rest in my hands. I know what is fitting for you, who can walk with you, which season must remain, and which season must be released. You do not need to understand everything today. You only need to trust that I never empty you in order to abandon you. But I empty what no longer belongs to you, so that I may fill that place with life, peace, and true love from me. My beloved child, let your heart grow still and listen deeply to what I am speaking to you in this hour. You have never been left alone. Even in seasons when it seemed as though the whole sky had closed above you, in the days when you walked through the dry land of trial, when your strength was fading and no one noticed, I was still there. When you sat among crowds, yet felt like a stranger. When you smiled to hide the broken pieces within. When you returned to a silent room and let your tears fall without a sound. I bent near to you more closely than you knew. Not one of your sighs was carried away by the wind. Not one of your tears fell without being remembered by me. Not one night of sleepless anxiety passed while I turned my face away. I saw it all, not with a gaze of judgment, but with the heart of a father who loves you to the uttermost. There are paths I allowed you to walk through, not to drain you, but to separate you from the layers of fear that had clung to you for too long. You once thought you were weak because you cried so much. But I saw in those tears a quiet faithfulness. You once blamed yourself because there were times you trembled. But I saw that you still did not let go of hope. Even when that hope was only as small as a spark in the deep night. You once wondered whether your prayers ever reached me, especially the prayers that had no complete sentences, the calls choked in your throat, the times when you could only remain silent because the pain was too deep to speak. My child, I do not need you to use perfect words for me to understand you. Before your mouth speaks, I have already heard what your heart is carrying. Before you know how to name your pain, I have already placed my hand upon that wound. And now, after seasons when you thought there was nothing but waiting and enduring, I am opening a new path before you. It is not a path formed by coincidence, nor a fragile change that will quickly fade, but a movement prepared from above, in the right time, with the right rhythm, in the right order. You may sense that something is changing in the air around you, as though an invisible door is gently opening, as though things once delayed are beginning to move. That feeling is not without foundation. I am renewing your way. I am drawing you out of the narrow place of old days and bringing you closer to the portion of blessing I appointed for you long ago. The light in the sky during this season is not merely beauty for you to look at and then forget. For you, it is a tender reminder that darkness does not have the final word. Just as a full brightness appears in the night, I am causing my light to rise in the very places where you once thought only obscurity remained. The things you could not move by your own strength, I am touching. The doors you knocked upon with tears, I am considering. The prayers you sowed into silence, I am causing to sprout in the unseen realm before they appear before your eyes. Do not think that my silence in a certain season means my absence. Many times, in silence itself, I am arranging the most, reconnecting what was most broken, and preparing a way out that you do not yet have the strength to imagine. Remember the story of Hagar in the wilderness, the woman who thought she had been forgotten in a dry and burning place, with no refuge and no one to hear her. She carried fear, wounds, and the feeling that she was only someone pushed to the margins. But I saw her where no one else saw her. I heard the cry in that desolate place. I opened her eyes to see the well nearby, the source of life that had already been prepared, though despair had kept her from recognizing it. My beloved child, the same is true for you. There are wells I have placed near you in seasons when you thought you were about to collapse. There are sources of strength I have hidden within the very land of hardship, so that when the time comes, your eyes will be opened and you will understand that I never left you. I do not meet you only in high temples or peaceful places. I also meet you in the wilderness, where you thought no one still called your name. So do not see your painful years as meaningless. I have used every trial to make you deeper, softer, wiser, and more steadfast. The things that once made you feel shattered became the places where I taught you to rely on me. The storms that once made you tremble trained within you a quiet steadiness. The times you were misunderstood taught you to stop living for the approval of everyone. The losses that hurt you opened within you the ability to discern what truly comes from me and what merely carries outward beauty without leading you into peace. You are no longer the person you were yesterday, even when you do not always recognize it. I have been doing a faithful work in the depths of you. Your prayers, whether spoken beside a window late at night, in a small room, on an empty road, or only through a weary gaze lifted upward, have all come before me. Not one has been lost. Not one cry has been despised. Not one season of waiting has been dismissed as though it did not matter. I have received them all, and I am answering in a way that is both wise and merciful. Sometimes I do not answer exactly as you asked, because I see that what you truly need is greater than what you imagined. Sometimes I hold back something you desire, not to hurt you, but to prepare something that will not cost you your peace. Sometimes I let you wait longer, not because I am late, but because I am causing the timing, the people, the circumstances, and your own heart to meet in completeness. Now, as a new chapter is opening, I want you to enter it not with the fear of someone about to lose more, but with the trust of one who knows they are being guided. Do not carry every old wound into the new future to measure it. Do not let seasons of abandonment cause you to doubt every gift I send. Do not let the memory of doors that once closed keep you from stepping through the door I am opening. I do not call you into a new beginning so that you may live under the shadow of what has passed. I call you into a wider place, where you can breathe again, trust again, hope again, and realize that my hand has never loosened its hold on your life. You will see in the coming days that some things will begin to be set back into their proper places. Perhaps not loudly, not immediately, and not in the way you once imagined. But there will be a gradual brightening. A new peace will come, not because every problem disappears, but because you realize that I reign over every detail. A new courage will rise, not because you no longer feel afraid, but because you know I am greater than what frightens you. A new certainty will be planted in your heart, so that you no longer live as one forgotten, but as one who is called by name, preserved, and brought into the right season. Therefore, my beloved child, wipe your tears and look up. The night has taught you many things, but it is not allowed to define you. The lonely days pass through you, but they do not have the right to say you were abandoned. The trials touched you, but they cannot erase my seal upon your life. I am opening a new page, and on that page, you will understand that every sincere prayer has a day when I cause it to resound with an answer. Walk gently, yet firmly. Keep your heart pure, yet full of expectation. Believe that heaven is not silent toward you. I have heard. I have seen. I am acting, and I will lead you to the place where my light rises upon the very road you once thought was the end. I do not come to condemn you, but to draw you out of that slumber with the firm love of a father. You have heard me call many times, not only in peaceful hours, when your heart was light and prayer still came easily to your lips, but also in the days when everything was tangled. When you thought my voice had been swallowed by the sound of the storm, I called you through the times when your heart felt uneasy and you did not know why. I called you through the nights when you tossed and turned, your eyes open in the darkness while your heart was full of questions. No one answered. I called you through quiet tears, through the heaviness you felt whenever you entered a place that no longer nourished you, through the lasting weariness that came from trying to keep what I had gently touched many times for you to release. I was not silent. The noise around you had simply become so loud that you could no longer distinguish my tender invitation. You allowed too many sounds to enter the sacred space between you and me. Lies were planted in your mind, telling you that you were not good enough, not strong enough, not loved enough. The rush of life made you run from one thing to another until you no longer had time to sit down and recognize what was truly happening inside you. The voices of others, sometimes praising and sometimes judging, caused you to forget that your worth is not measured by the recognition of the crowd. At times, you became so tired that you accepted anything as long as you did not have to face change. But my child, true peace never requires you to lose purity, courage, or the calling I have placed within you. Many times, I placed within you a very quiet urging, a feeling that you needed to stop, a knowing that you could not continue walking the old way, a small light shining into the dark corners you had avoided looking at. But then you reassured yourself that things were not that serious, that you only needed to try a little more, that somehow everything would settle on its own. I loved you even in the times when you deceived yourself like that. because I knew you did not do it out of stubbornness, but because you were afraid of losing what was familiar, afraid of stepping into the unknown, afraid that if you let go, you would have nothing left to hold on to. But hear me, you were not created to cling to what makes you smaller. You were called to walk in the freedom I give. Remember Samuel when he was still a child in the temple. That night, he heard a call, but at first he did not recognize that it was my voice. He thought someone else was calling him. So he kept running to a familiar place to seek an answer. Only after he was guided did he learn how to respond to my presence in the silence. My beloved child. That story is not only about a boy called in the night, it is also about people like you. Those who hear something sounding within their hearts but are not yet quiet enough to recognize the source of that call. I have called you in the midst of your own night. I have awakened you through holy restlessness, not to torment you, but so that you may know a new direction is waiting for your obedience. Do not keep running to old places to find answers for a call that comes from me. There are nights when you cannot sleep, not only because of worry, but because I am stirring what you have buried deep. There are tears that are not merely signs of weakness, but waters washing away the layers of dust that have covered your vision. There are moments of unrest that are not meant to frighten you, but to help you recognize that where you are standing no longer fits who you are becoming. I use these signs not with harshness, but with mercy. I know that if you keep ignoring the gentle warning bells, one day you will become exhausted in the very place you once called safe. Therefore, I draw nearer to you, remind you more clearly, and awaken you more deeply, so that you will not lose a season of blessing simply because you have grown used to living in dimness. I want you to understand that awakening does not always begin with thunder across the heavens. Sometimes it begins with a moment when you no longer want to pretend. Sometimes it comes when you look at yourself and admit that you are tired of trying to please everyone. Sometimes it comes when you realize that you have been asking for peace while remaining in the very things that continually steal your peace. Sometimes it comes when you understand that I do not call you out of something merely to leave you empty, but to bring you into a cleaner and more wholesome fullness. My awakening may make you tremble at first, but it will not destroy you. It will restore to you clarity, courage, and the ability to hear me with a tender heart. So do not resist what I am doing within you. Do not quickly silence holy restlessness with busyness. Do not cover important questions with shallow self-reassurance. Do not let the world teach you that continuing to endure everything is strength, while I am teaching you that rising up from what no longer belongs to you is also a deep form of obedience. There are doors you must leave with tears, but beyond those doors is cleaner air. There are bonds you must untie while trembling, but afterward your hands will be lighter to receive what I place in them. There are rhythms of life you must slow down, not because you have lost, but because I am bringing you back into divine order. I know you have asked many questions after being left out. You look back at yourself and search through memory, wondering where you went wrong, what you lacked, whether you were not gentle enough, not intelligent enough, not precious enough, not special enough. You allowed the coldness of others to become an echo inside your heart, and little by little you began to doubt what I had placed in you. But my child, not everyone has the ability to recognize something precious when it stands before them. People can walk past a jewel and think it is only a stone, not because the jewel has lost its value, but because the one looking does not yet have the eyes to see. In the same way, when someone does not treasure you, that does not diminish your light. It only reveals the limits of their vision, their maturity, and their capacity to receive. Do not use another person's rejection to rewrite the name I have placed upon you. I do not call you a failure, I do not call you forgotten. I do not call you unworthy. I look at you with a gaze that knew you before you knew yourself. I see what you have overcome in silence. See how you have still tried to keep your heart tender after being hurt many times. See the sincerity you have given, even when it was not always returned. See the times you chose love, while your own heart also needed healing. These things are not small before me. People may judge you by a moment, an impression, a benefit, or shallow understanding, but I see the whole journey, the whole depth, the whole beauty I am cultivating in you. There are times when I allow you to be rejected in order to save you from being accepted in the wrong place. You may have prayed for a door to open, but I saw that if you entered it, you would have to shrink yourself to fit that room. You may have hoped someone would choose you, but I saw that such a choice would pull you into a cycle of insecurity, proving yourself, waiting, and losing your peace. You may have hurt because you were not called by name, not invited in, not kept close. But I saw behind what you desired the invisible cords that could have bound you away from the path I had prepared. Therefore, sometimes the no you hear from life is truly my gentle protection. Sometimes the closing before you is my hand shielding you from something unhealthy that you had not yet recognized. Remember David, the young son overlooked in his own father's house. When Samuel came to find the chosen one, David's brothers were brought forward first. Those whose appearance seemed strong, impressive, and noticeable to human eyes. But David remained in the field, among the scent of grass, the sound of sheep, and the quietness of work that few considered important. It seemed as though he had been forgotten on that important day. But I had not forgotten him. The one his family forgot to call was the one I had seen long before. The one placed in the background was the one I was preparing for the throne. Do you see? Being overlooked by people cannot prevent my choosing. Those who fail to recognize you today do not have the authority to decide what I will do through your life tomorrow. Therefore, do not bow your head too long before closed doors. Learn to see rejection with eyes illuminated by me. It may be a lesson, a redirection, a protection, a purificación, or an invitation to rise higher. It may hurt you at first, but if you place it in my hands, it will no longer be a meaningless wound. I will use it to make your heart steadier, so that you no longer build your worth upon the applause of others. I will use it to teach you the difference between places that only like you when you are useful and places that truly honor your presence. I will use it to remind you that not every place you wish to belong to is worthy of your remaining. You do not lack light. You only need to stop placing that light before those who are determined to close their eyes. You do not lack value. You only need to stop begging for recognition from hearts that are not spacious enough to treasure what I have planted in you. You do not lack goodness. You only need to let me lead you to the right place, where your presence is not treated as a burden, where your heart is not exploited, where the good things within you are cared for and not drained dry. There are people who only know how to receive from you without knowing how to protect you. There are places that want the light you bring but do not want to honor the source of light I have placed in you. I will not let you stand forever outside such doors, knocking until your hands are weary just to ask for a place I never appointed for you. The pain of rejection may make you feel pushed away, but in my mystery, that may be the very moment I am drawing you closer. When the outside voices grow quiet, you can hear my voice more clearly. When the hands you hoped for do not hold you, you can realize that my hand has always upheld you. When the places you wanted to belong to do not open, you can begin to discover the place I have prepared wider, purer, and more fitting for you. Do not fear the empty space after rejection. That emptiness is not a sign that you have been abandoned. It may be the space I am clearing so that I may place into your life something healthier, deeper, and more enduring. I want you to rise from the habit of condemning yourself. Do not turn every rejection into a courtroom within your heart. Do not let the memory of people who did not know how to value you continue sitting on the throne of judgment. Do not let one silence, one turning away, or one choice made by someone else become the measure of your future. You were created by me with meaning, preserved by me through many seasons, and guided by me with a love that never runs dry. Others may not choose you, but that does not make me change my mind about you. Others may not understand you, but that does not cause my plan for you to lose its power. Others may overlook you, but I never overlook what I have placed within you. Let rejection become a step, not a wall. Let it teach you to release what does not belong to you, but do not allow it to steal the tenderness within you. Let it make you wiser, but do not let it make you bitter. Let it help you mature, but do not let it cause you to close the door to what I will send. You are still allowed to hope. You are still allowed to love. You are still allowed to keep walking with a pure heart, without needing to carry heavy defenses like a cloak. I will heal the places touched by rejection. I will remind you that your dignity did not begin with the approval of others, and therefore it cannot end with their refusal. My beloved child, what is rejected today may be the very thing I am protecting for tomorrow. You do not need to chase the places that have closed in order to prove that you are worthy. You only need to stay near me, so that I may lead you to the right door, the right people, and the right time. When something from me opens, you will not have to lose your peace in order to remain. You will not have to strain yourself to be seen. You will not have to ask anyone's permission to shine in the way I have placed within you. Walk in this assurance. Rejection does not define you. My choosing is your foundation. And I, your merciful Father, I'm still writing your story with love, with wisdom, and with a faithfulness that will never be withdrawn.